Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It's LaShanda Henry, a.k.a. Sister Sense, and we are about to kick off today's Back to Business virtual conference all about monetizing now. I'm super excited to share with you all of the amazing speakers that we've got lined up today. For my early birds, just so that you know, you can actually go to sistersense.com/swag, SWAG, so that you can download your virtual swag bag. It's got all of these awesome downloads and links to videos from some of our amazing speakers. In addition to sharing here, they've got some wonderful things to share with you as well. So, and I'll mention that periodically throughout the day. Number one, you can go to sistersense.com/swag so that you can download your free virtual swag bag. And number two, if you are new to the circle, remember you can go to facebook.sistersense.com to join our private community for the Sister Sense Facebook Power Circle community, and we'll get started. We'll get started in just a bit, so hang tight. I'm looking for our first speaker for today, the amazing Carla Cannon. So Carla, if you're here, if you could just hit *6 and 1 to enter the queue for me so that I can see you. But we've got a few minutes here to jump into the session today. So hang tight, ladies, and we'll get started in just a bit. Oh, my goodness, ladies, it's about that time to get focused and fired up. The Sister Sense Back to Business virtual conference begins now with our first amazing speaker kicking things off, Carla Cannon, the creator of Women of Standard. Carla is going to talk to you today about how to turn those hobbies into profitable businesses. I'm so excited to have her sharing her ministry, her message, and her power with you today. So without further delay, I am ready to welcome the wonderful Carla Cannon.
Hey, LaShanda, can you hear me okay?
I can. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here another year with Back to Business. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Awesome. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Again, thank LaShanda so much for having me. I have a lot of information to share with you guys this morning. Really excited. So I want to encourage you to grab your pen, your pad. And LaShanda, is there a hashtag we're using if they're posting on social media, any nuggets that they're taking away?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So it's B2B16, and the 2 is a number 2. So B2B16 for Back to Business.
Awesome. So, and you guys, please overlook my raspy voice. It's early for me. So my real voice doesn't seem to kick in until like 10-ish for whatever reason. But as LaShanda said, my name is Carla R. Cannon, also known as the Trailblazer. I am a 7-time best-selling author, professional breakthrough coach, publisher, and transformational speaker. And it is my mission to help unlock, unleash, and activate women into their place of abundance from the pulpit to the marketplace by teaching you proficiently how to develop your darkest storms into a thriving business. This is something that I teach because this is something that I've done. The reason why I focus on book writing and, marketplace ministry, because that is the area in which I dominate. And you're going to actually learn how to find your fears, as the fierce catalyst, Nicole Robert Jones likes to say. And I love that, finding your fears. I think that's so good. You're going to be able to find your place because with so much going on and, with social media and the world, so many people are wrestling to find their place. So we're going to talk about developing your hobby into a profitable business, and then I'm also going to share some nuggets with you as well. My key elements of focus are kingdom entrepreneurship, women in ministry, and book writing. So today I'll be sharing the importance of answering the call to kingdom entrepreneurship. And in doing so, I will also be sharing, number one, how to identify your gift, Number 2, how to profit from your passion. And number 3, how to expand your brand by sharing your authentic story. Now, I believe that if I'm going to share with you how to share your story authentically, and just to give you some background on me, our story is always the connector. A lot of times, we hear people, they just want to go right into teaching, but we need to know what qualifies you to teach what it is that you do. Your story will never get old. It never becomes outdated. Your story will always be relevant, and that's something I want to share today. It doesn't matter the platform. Now, you may tweak your story depending on the platform that you're on, certain verbiage that you may use, that I may use in a faith-based community. If I'm speaking with a Fortune 500 company or something, even with Back to Business, there's certain language that I wouldn't use that I may use in faith-based community, and vice versa. But you don't have to downsize or downplay your story. You can still share it. You just need to learn authentically and also strategically how to do so. So for the past 6 years, I personally have been building my business as a professional writer and a speaker. Now, here's what I want you to pay attention to, because everybody is so ready to fire their boss and get off their jobs. But for the first 4 years, I built my business while I worked a 9-to-5 in corporate America. What has now been defined as my calling or as my gift, I share with the world daily, but it begins through me sharing inspirational text messages with my friends. Now, I want you to pay attention to something that I said. I said, while I was working my 9-to-5, I built my business. So the question for those of you that may be still working a 9-to-5, some are juggling a 9-to-5 in pursuit of being a full-time entrepreneur, but are you maxing out where you are? Are you giving your job 40 hours a week and then you don't have any time? You're too tired by the time you deal with the husband, the kids and all of that. You're too tired to work on your vision. Listen, I was punching a 40-hour-a-week clock, been active in my local church, wrote my first book, had moved to a new city, was raising my daughter as a single mom, and I still spent a minimum of 3 hours a day on my vision, because it boils down to how bad do you want it, and then on top of that, I wasn't busy trying to be a diva. I was taking my money to the bank. So I was investing in my business. I was focused. I wasn't going shopping with my girlfriends. I wasn't, on the scene all the time. I was behind the scenes, or as you will, I was experiencing what I call my wilderness experience, where nobody really knew me. I really didn't know who I was either, still trying to find myself. But at the same time, I was still making progress, because I believe before you can be a success publicly, you got to experience some victories privately. So in sending these inspirational text messages, I did this for 12 consecutive months, and it was real simple. You know how you grab your phone and we send out, and this was before group messaging became very annoying. You know what I'm saying? 6 years ago, we could send a group message and we wouldn't block nobody, we wouldn't be upset. Nowadays, you try that, we don't like that. But back when group messaging was okay, we could send a group message to our friends, and I would send them to my family, just encouraging message. And it could be something like, today's going to be awesome, show up big, believe what God says about you. Bam. And I would use the hashtag Women of Standard. Didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't know I was birthing something. All I knew was that in the midst of my discouragement, I found encouragement through encouraging others. So after sending these text messages, what I learned was that so many people were inspired. They were uplifted, while I, too, was motivated by my pain. Now, you may say, how does one become motivated by their pain? And what I want you to know is that pain is the currency for purpose. As my sister from Sarah from Trinidad often says, pain also has a way of birthing things out of us that we never even realized was there. So here I was encouraging other people, didn't even know this was my launching pad, sending inspirational text messages. All I knew, I was discouraged, and I felt better when I encouraged somebody else. So it wasn't until my midnight hour where I would pen my pain as a way of communicating with God that I needed his help. Now, ladies, as my tears hit the paper and I wrote, purpose was being revealed and my gift was being cultivated without me even knowing it. So after sending inspirational text for exactly 1 year, I began to physically type up letters and mail them out to women I knew in the community. Now, this was simply to encourage them, whoever, and I believe in being a spiritual person, not a spooky person. So whoever was on my mind that day, I would say, type up a nice little letter, sign it, put it in the mail. And this was back before we started doing everything electronically. This was 6 years ago. This was before you could get everything email. LaShanda rocking out got the virtual swag bag. Back then We want everything tangible, but technology, and she is the technology queen, I'm telling you, but technology has enabled us to do so many things differently, but we still want to make sure we don't get away from that personal touch, even with your girlfriends, and it's just a sidebar, we want to have so many meetings, via Skype and this and that. Sometimes we need to just sit down and have lunch. Sometimes we need to see first face-to-face because it's hard to cultivate relationships if you don't spend the proper time. Texting and all of that is good, but then there comes a time when you need that face-to-face. So that was just a little sidebar. Didn't have a lot to do with my message, right? But after sending inspirational text for exactly 1 year, I began to physically, like I said, type up these letters and I would send them out to different women that was in the community and simply to encourage them. Now, again, notice I sent inspirational text every morning for 1 year. I went from 1 year doing the inspirational text to the next year sending out inspirational letters. Now, after sending out these inspirational letters, I had a coworker that assisted me in developing them into newsletter form. Now, she saw them and she was like, Carla, this is so powerful. She was like, this is powerful what you're doing. She said, have you ever considered putting it in newsletter form? Now, I'm not a techie person. I'm not a designer, not any of that. All I knew at the time was writing. I was penning my pain, and I was encouraging others through things that I was going through. So she helped me put it in newsletter form. So what I began to do then was send it out via email. I sent it out via mail, and I shared it on social media. I did that for exactly 1 year. If you notice one thing about what I'm saying is consistency is going to be your key. That is a key mechanism to success. Anything that you're going to do it consistently. Anything, if you're going to show up consistently. And so in doing this for 1 year, so now 2 years is going by, I still don't realize I have the ministry. I still don't realize I'm birthed in purpose. All I know is helping other people is help easing my pain. So let me keep helping as many people as I can, right? So during this time, again, I had no clue that I was birthing ministry or even being used by God to operate in my calling. I was simply penning my pain and encouraging others through what I myself was facing at the current time. And guess what? It worked. I received tons of emails, text messages, thank you cards, saying how my words were received in perfect timing. Now, after 1 year of writing newsletters, a male friend of mine at the time suggested, Carla, have you ever considered doing a magazine? And I remember laughing at him. You understand? I was like Sarah when she laughed at God in the Bible when the Lord told her in her old age she was going to have a baby. I was like, there's no way. I don't have, I'm not connected to the right people. I don't have the following. I don't even know what a brand is. What are you talking about? And he said 4 words actually, that changed my life. He came to me with the suggestion, and I said, I have no clue how to do this. He said, I will help you. Oh, my goodness. How many of you are waiting for someone to say, I will help you? And God will send those people. You got to be willing to make those power connections and establish power partners. But you first got to be, be willing to accept that in which you don't know. So with him telling me, okay, I'll help you, he did the graphic design. He even printed my first 50 copies for me absolutely free. So we need people around us that are going to sow into our future, right? And so we named the magazine Women of Standard. Remember, I was putting hashtag Women of Standard in those inspirational texts, in the letters, in the newsletter, and then I just continued using that. So to move the story along, what started out as inspirational text messages and letters and a newsletter was later developed into a magazine which empowered and positively impacted the lives of global women. We even included a Men of Standard column in there. So we had, women sharing the magazine with their husbands, with their sons, with their uncles. And so I was favored and privileged to speak and interview people in the gospel and the marketplace in the industry, such as Tasha Cobbs, Yolanda Adams, Kiara Sheard, Ben Tankard, Real Talk Kim, Dr. Stacia Pierce, and so forth. And I want to share this. I received my first international interview. It was with Dr. Jamal Bryant. I wanted to interview him for the Men of Standard column. And guess how I secured that interview? By tweeting him. I sent a message on Twitter. You only have a few characters, right? They've extended it now, but you got to remember back then, so I had to kind of play with my words. I told him who I was, what I was doing, and he sent me his assistant's name, set up the 15-minute interview, and then bam, Dr. Jamal Bryant was in my magazine. And why did I share that story? It's because it's very important for you guys to know that we all have humble beginnings. We all are in a different process of life. And so for me, I had I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know I was birthing purpose, but I was enjoying the journey, and we're all in the process of becoming. And so I want to encourage you to enjoy the journey. Don't compare your journey, your process, your business, your ministry to somebody else's. Lean and glean is what I say. Lean and glean, not lean and get stuck. Not lean and get mad, not lean and compare, but lean and glean from other people that are moving and shaking, and then make them your power partners in your brand. So I share this story in an effort to unveil to you that purpose is not a mystery, but it's a discovery. And everything that you and I do leads us into a deeper sense of purpose, whether we realize it or not. So now we want to jump right into part one that I'm going to be talking to you about today, which is how to identify your gift. Remember, we're going to talk about how to identify your gift, profit from your passion, and expand your brand by sharing your authentic story. So things that you and I naturally enjoy doing will lead us into purpose. Therefore, I need you to remember this formula. It's 2 formulas, and I want you to write them down. I want you to tweet them using the hashtag as well. Pain plus passion equals purpose. I'm going to say that again. Pain plus passion equals purpose. And then also, pain plus purpose equals profit. It is possible to profit from your pain once you have identified what it is that you are passionate about. Everything in life takes a skill, focus, and mastery. Come on, I want you to say that out loud. I know I can't hear you, but just release it in the atmosphere. Everything in life takes skill, focus, and mastery. In discovering your passion, which equates to your purpose, what is it that you naturally enjoy doing? Is it singing? Is it sewing? Is it serving? Is it writing? Is it like me, encouraging others? Whatever it may be, I encourage you to pursue it wholeheartedly and connect with a coach or mentor who can show you how to cultivate your gift into a thriving business so that you can both A, impact lives, and B, provide for your family financially. Now, one of the things I want to remind you of today is that no man is an island. No woman is an island. You're going to need power partners. You're going to need power players. I love the fact that LaShanda has the power circle because you got to up-level your circle of influence. You got to up-level the type of books that you read. You got to up-level the type of things you're watching on television. You even got to up-level the conferences and workshops and events that you attend. And because all of that is a part of, cultivating your gift. Now, Nelson Mandela says it like this. He says, there is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than one you are capable of living. I'm going to say that again. He said, there is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than one you are capable of living. Harriet Tubman goes on to say it like this. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Now let's go on to part 2, how to profit from your passion. So number 1, we're identifying your passion. How to identify what it is that you love to do. What is it that is so natural to you that other people will pay you for? And that's one thing that I'm learning is because we are so naturally good at certain things, we no longer recognize them as a gift. That was good. Because I'm naturally organized. I naturally enjoy speaking. I'm a natural writer. I didn't say I was the best, but I'm the best in my lane. I'm the best version of Carla than I was yesterday. My biggest competition is not my sister. My biggest competition is the person I was yesterday. So I'm competing with who I was yesterday, allowing the small me to sit down so the big me can rise up. So how to profit from your passion? Passion, simply put, is the energy that keeps us going, that keeps us filled with meaning, happiness, excitement, and anticipation. Passion is a powerful force in accomplishing anything we set our minds to and in experiencing work and life to the fullest extent possible. I say it like this. Find what you are passionate about, and it will lead you to a life full of purpose. One way to profit from your passion is by, number one, understanding that you are the solution to someone else's problem. You have what someone else is looking for. But if you don't cultivate your gift, if you don't spend time nurturing it, if you don't monitor the words that you use, if you don't become a better, a respecter of time, time is our most valuable commodity. It's our most valuable asset. How are you spending your time on a daily basis? When it comes to discovering purpose, it takes time. You got to be intentional. We evolve every single day, or we should rather, and it takes time to do that. Number two, the experiences that you have help shape who you are, and you have a story that must be told. Now, let's deal with the first part of this, understanding that you are the solution to someone else's problem. I want you to tweet that. Put that on Facebook and using the hashtag of today, that I am the solution to someone else's problem, because you are. Every day, people pay to have their problem solved. We pay our accountants. We pay our mechanics, we pay our coaches, we pay our doctors, and so much more, right? What you have on the inside of you is worth sharing, and it is possible to place your gifts inside a systematic business model and allow your gifts to work for you. Now, work doesn't feel like work when you enjoy what you do. I went from working a 9 to 5 in a small cubicle with catty women and complaining clients, and each day on that job felt lifeless and draining and a complete waste of time. But guess what I learned? The experiences and skills that I've learned from that job have helped shape me into the entrepreneur that I am today. I learned from my supervisor what to do and what not to do. I learned from my coworkers what the proper and improper ways were for handling disputes and miscommunications. Because now I have a movement, Women of Standard, that caters to women. And let me say this, the area in which you are called is the area in which you will experience the greatest level of turbulence. Whatever area you're called, whatever you're passionate about, it doesn't mean that every day is going to be sunny. You're going to have some challenges. You're going to meet some bumps in the road, but it's your passion that's going to drive you. It's your passion that's going to keep you going. We're smack dead of, listen, my passion allowed me to show up today when I'm preparing to bury my grandfather on Friday. My passion allowed me to show up today. I dare not call LaShanda and say, oh, I can't be your opening speaker for the Back to Business because my grandfather just passed. The Bible said, let the dead bury the dead. My grandfather's going. I'm going to mourn with him. I'm going to mourn for him. My father flies in from Jacksonville, Florida on Friday. But guess what? I have an assignment. It is my passion that keeps me going even when life happens. And that's something that we as aspiring and emerging entrepreneurs, we got to develop some stick-to-itness. We cannot back out and back down every time life happens. Remember, you got to be consistent and you got to show up big every single day. So if you are currently working a 9 to 5, please know that you are purposed to be there. That's one thing that in my coaching through Trailblazer Coaching that I offer through Carla Cannon Enterprises is that I have to, get people to see you need this job right now. You can't just leave, I understand we're going to operate in faith. Hallelujah. Yeah, we're going to do that. But at the same time, you got to have a plan. A goal without a strategic plan of action simply is a wish. You got to have a plan. You are on that job for a reason. Build your business. Build your brand, build your following, build your network. Get your website. Before you even get to a website, business card, and all of that, develop your story. Develop a solid message. Connect with your audience. Your story is your number one connector to your audience. So as it relates to profiting from your passion, I want to ask you the following questions. What would you do if money or failing were not an issue? If money wasn't an issue, because that is the number one reason when I speak to people and I coach them and I'm in VIP sessions or I'm traveling as a speaker, the number one reason is two reasons that I hear a lot. Number one is they don't have the money, and number two is fear. Listen, one thing that I've learned is that we never have a money problem. We have an idea problem. Your mind, oh my goodness, you have an innovative ability to tap into what I call your wealth factor and produce everything that you need in the earth. That was good. You have everything that you need. Sometimes you need to sit down and just get quiet and think. Get what I call an innovative and revelation notebook, a catch-all notebook, and keep it with you at all times. And sometimes just get silent. Sometimes turn the phone off. Sometimes, one of the things that I really enjoy doing is I like to go to the grocery store. I'm not a girl I don't enjoy shopping, going to the mall, spend hours at the mall. I go in, get what I need, and I get out. I'm kind of like a guy. Most guys, like, they go in one store, they're focused. I'm going in this store to get this shoe, and I'm going out. We pass by 5 stores going in. We got to stop by 5 stores going out. But I'm not like this. But one of the things I enjoy doing when I go to the grocery store, it's like therapy. I like to walk down every single aisle. And I'm telling y'all, I have gotten, in silence, I either will play soft music in my ear, in my headphones or my beats as I'm walking through. I don't talk on the phone while I do my best not to talk on the phone while I'm driving, while I'm in the grocery store. And guess what? I get some of the greatest downloads. My Momentum Mastermind Intensive that's coming up. I got the whole plan walking through the grocery store. I had to stop on aisle 8 just to put notes in my phone for all of the downloads that I was receiving. So what am I saying? What would you do if money or failing was not an option for you? You got to position yourself to be able to hear properly and prepare yourself to be able to execute proficiently. Okay? So number 2, what do you desire? What do you desire to service with your gift? Who do you desire to service with your gift? This is how you identify your target audience. So remember, number 1, in profiting from your passion, you got to identify what would I do if money was not an option and failing was not an issue for me. If I didn't have to worry about fear, I didn't have to worry about money, I didn't have to worry about failing, what would I do? And then number 2, who do you desire to service with your gift? Now, this is how you identify your target market. One mistake I see aspiring entrepreneurs make is and sometimes even emerging entrepreneurs, because they try to service everybody instead of thinking about the remnant. I would say the remnant are those who are assigned to you. I used to think that being a boss meant I had tons of clients, making tons of money. But 6 years later as an entrepreneur, I've learned that I can serve less clients and make more money by properly pricing my services and identifying, number 3, my unique serving proposition. Now, number 3, what is your unique serving proposition? This is how you position yourself to serve in your community as well as globally. Come on. Once you have identified what you are passionate about, next I encourage you to focus on how you intend to serve. So number 1, if money, failing, or fear was not an issue, what would you do? Number 2, who do you desire to service? Who is your remnant? And then number 3, what is your unique serving proposition? We're not always trying to sell, but we're really called to serve, because that's what this is all about, serving others by using our gift. So once you have identified what you are passionate about, I encourage you next to focus on how you intend to serve. What would you like to package your knowledge in a book, host workshops, conferences, and summits, sharing your story combined with strategies that attendees can walk away with? Number 4, how do you intend to make money? One of the mistakes that I made as I was doing all this vision board and, vision board party and, making plans for my future, I never sat down and thought about how much money I want to make. I didn't do what I call, I have a program called Fire Your Boss and Hire Yourself as COO. It's a 6-step guide into transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship. And one of the things that I teach in that program as they're preparing to come off of their job is the importance of, developing a survivor budget and a thriving budget. In order to come off of your job, you got to declare, okay, this is the bare minimum, what I need to make it. That's what I call a survivor budget. And then thriving is, okay, this is what I need to live comfortably. And in doing so, I didn't even set goals as far as how much money I wanted to make, or number 2, how I intended to replace my income. Okay, how am I going to do this? You simply put, if you are not making money with your gift, you are a hobbyist. You just have a hobby. You're not in business. And one thing I want to remind you of is there are 4 elements in which one must learn and master in order to run and operate a profitable business. There's 4 elements. Number 1, branding is how you get known. Number 2, marketing is how you get found. Number 3, sales is how you get paid. And number 4, operations is how you build a business. I'm going to say it again. Number 1, branding is how you get known. Number 2, marketing is how you get found. Number 3, sales is how you get paid. Number 4, operations is how you build a business. Now let's break those down real quick. Branding is key in business. What separates, what I do from others? As a CEO of Cannon Publishing, our unique serving proposition is that we specialize in startup authors by incorporating with our services and teaching aspiring authors how to write a best-selling book in 7 days, as well as how to use their book to launch their business. Now, most publishing companies aren't teaching you that. They're just focused on your book. But I will teach you at Cannon Publishing how to develop your book into a movement, how to master your message and develop it into a movement, how to take your pain and process it and to turn it into purpose, and incorporate coaching while teaching you a system on how to write the book while maintaining ownership of all the content. That's our unique serving proposition at Cannon Publishing. So number 2, marketing is essential in business. If they can't find you, they can't hire you. So if you're an entrepreneur, you must be on social media, period. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. If you don't know how to use Periscope, learn. If you don't know how to maneuver Facebook, make that your goal. If you still don't know how to use Instagram, if you're not on Snapchat, if you're not on Twitter, and I say this, focus on one platform at a time. Just build one, and once you get that building strong, go to the next one. Don't try to build all platforms at the same time. Choose one. My first one I chose was Facebook. Once I maxed out 5,000 friends, then I created a public figure page, and then we're at about 4,000 or something on that page. And then I went to Twitter, and then we're at about 23,000 on Periscope. So it's like, take your time and pace yourself, but you gotta be on social media. This year alone, guys, I want you to understand that social media will open so many doors for you. People are not looking through the yellow pages anymore, but what they're doing is they are going on social media, and they're going on Google, and they're looking up information. If I Googled your name right now, what would come up? Would you be non-existent? Would you say you had a business, but I can't find you online? You understand? This year alone, I traveled the country sharing my story and activating women literally across America by, number 1, being present, and number 2, being consistent, just on Periscope. You understand? I showed up on Periscope teaching valuable content that the people needed to hear. I know my audience. I'm not trying to get on and sound like LaShanda. I'm not trying to get on and sound like Valerie Burton. I'm not trying to get on and sound like Dr. Venus. I'm getting on and sounding like Carla. I'm remaining true to my story, and I'm staying in my lane so that I can do what? Attract my remnant. Number 3, sales is essential as well. If you are not getting paid and your account is constantly in the negative, you will end up having to go back to your 9 to 5, which will steal more of your time and rob you of your purpose. Manage your money now so you can make it work for you later. Number 4, operations is how you build a business. How you do what you do is more important than what you actually do. I'm going to say that again. How you do what you do is more important than what you actually do. Set your business up as a money-making machine. Automate your website. Put things on autopilot so you can make your money while you sleep. There's no greater joy, I'm telling you, than to wake up and see PayPal, all these notifications, because your marketing is on autopilot. You understand? Because you're not getting on social media without, pitching an offer at the end. And even if only one person buys into it, that means you was on social media for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 60 minutes, and you were able to at least gain one client. So you got to make sure that you identify your unique serving proposition. And remember that branding is how you get known. Marketing is how you get found. Sales is how you get paid. And operations is how you build a business. Now, part 3, and finally, expand your brand by sharing your authentic story. In 2011, when I came on the scene, guys, I shared my story of being in a tremendous identity crisis. I had various labels placed on me as a child. I also shared how I overcame physical abuse by my stepfather and abandonment by my biological father. I shared my story of attempted suicide, how I became a teenage mother at 17 years old, my senior year in high school, and how I was just a baby raising a baby. But I still managed to graduate with my diploma, although I was unable to walk across the stage with my class. I shared my story of growing up angry and being a fighter and how I never experienced my high school prom. Come on. But I knew it was like I never knew what it was like to have my father accompany me to a school dance, as I see many girls do today. But guess what? In the midst of it all, I never gave up. I was a fighter by nature who simply needed to redirect my focus as well as a tremendous amount of guidance. But all of my pain awakened the warrior in me, the warrior who was there all around, sleeping, waiting for the right trial, tribulation, hurt, pain, betrayal to awaken me and cause me to transform into the strong, driven, courageous woman I am today. If you think about some of our greatest speakers in the world today, one of the key things you remember is their story. Think about Steve Harvey, who slept in his car for 2 to 3 years. Think about Tyler Perry, who hosted plays. Come on, he hosted plays for 10 years before his big break. And I'm talking about the first 5 years in seemed like an epic fail, but he kept going. He was persistent and consistent. He showed up and he didn't stop. Think about people like Les Brown, who was identified or labeled as the dumb twin. Think about people like Lisa Nichols, who was on welfare and could barely take care of her son, Jelani. Think about Jack Canfield, who is now co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, but started out as a teacher. Come on. So think about Oprah Winfrey. Let's just she started out as a broadcaster and all of that. And let's just fast forward. Let's look at let's go back and then we'll fast forward. When African American women, when there weren't roles in media for African American women, Oprah Winfrey created roles for women of color. You understand? When she decided she's gonna have her own network, and so many people were telling her that she couldn't. And in the beginning, it appeared to be an epic fail. Her numbers weren't right. It was all over social media. It was all over, the internet. But guess what? She tapped into her power partner and linked up with Tyler Perry, who is a mastermind with plays and movies, and he came on her network and turned those numbers around. And guess what else? She tapped into another power partner, Bishop T.D. Jakes, and brought the T.D. Jakes show. And then guess what? She tapped into other masterminds and brought TV shows and movies that we love, TV shows. What's the show? If Loving You Is Wrong with Tyler Perry, and what's the other one? Y'all know what they are because you watch it. So all of those, and guess what? She tapped into her power partners because she understood she couldn't do it by herself. Your story is your number one connector. Your story is your ticket to success. Look at people like Joyce Meyer. We may look at it and like, okay, Jess, we know you, molested by your dad. Some people will get tired of hearing your story, but you got to remember, you always have somebody new in the audience that knows nothing about you, and that's going to be saying, Harpo, who this woman? You're going to have somebody that's like, okay, well, who are you? So never be, number one, ashamed of sharing your story, and then number two, don't be afraid to share your story, and number three, always share your story consistently. Even as an entrepreneur, I share my journey. If I'm in ministry, I share my journey of becoming. When I'm in the marketplace, I share how I started from humble beginnings, and I still have a long way to go. But I'm learning to celebrate myself in the process. So your story is your ticket to success. And no matter how many people are in the same field as you, no one has your same story. Sure, they may be similar, but that is why you must learn to master the craft by sharing your story strategically with the intention to not only impact your listeners as you take them on a journey, but to literally transform their lives with every word that comes from your lips. Now, in sharing my story, I was afforded about 2 years ago the opportunity to cover media at the Bishop T.D. Jakes Woman Thou Loose Conference with over 20,000 people present. I've never been in a venue with that many people at the same time, but it was favor that opened that door for Women of Standard. But had I never shared my story in the pages of my own magazine, Cora Jakes Coleman would have never found out about me. The Bishop Jakes staff would have never heard of me to reach out to me and ask me to cover media at their event. Sharing my story allowed me the opportunity to share the stage with Bravo's leading co-star of the hit show Thicker Than Water, Jewel Tankard, who immediately after hearing me share my story on it, we was on the same platform. I didn't even notice that Jewel Tankard was in the room. I knew she was scheduled to speak, but I was so wrapped up into what I was doing and cultivating the audience, I didn't even notice that Jewel was there, and I had captured her attention. Immediately after coming off of the stage, Jewel came to me and said, you have got to come to Detroit, and I need you to share that story. And on the spot, she began to ask me questions. Now, let me say this. This was at an event here in my hometown where the young lady that invited me made it very clear, I don't have a lot to pay you, Carla. So here's the deal. I saw she had Jewel Tankard coming. I saw she had Jacqueline Carr, and Jacqueline Carr used to be a writer in my magazine for the column Youth on the Move. So here was an opportunity for me to actually be able to meet Jacqueline Carr, to meet Jewel Tankard, and I'm going to worry about money, or am I going to focus on leverage? Oftentimes, we miss opportunities because we're so busy chasing a dollar rather than focusing on other opportunities that one door can open for you. So imagine if I was like, well, you can't pay me what I'm worth, you bringing Jewel, you bringing Jacqueline, then no, I ain't coming. But I told her, I said, don't worry about the money. I said, I appreciate the opportunity. And guess what? It put me in front of Ben Tankard, Jewel Tankard, Jacqueline Carr, and they were able to hear my story. And then a few months later, I'm driving up to Detroit, made a girls trip, and being on the Jewel Tankard show alongside David and Tamela Mann, Dr. Heavenly, and so forth. So in everything that you do, I need you to understand that it's ministry. Ministry is not limited to the four walls of the church. We are the church, and we must take God's word, our faith, our story into the marketplace, y'all, and we got to do it now. It doesn't matter your belief system. None of that matters. Whatever you believe in, bring all of that with you. Allow all of that to be present when you show up. Remember, you want the small you to sit down and digress as the big you shows up and progress. So many people are waiting on you, and I encourage you not to just show up, but to show up big and to show up now. Now, for a brief recap, I just shared with you how to, number one, identify your gift. And I was talking kind of fast because I couldn't remember how much time I have. And I like to finish early rather than somebody had to stop me because I'm a meaty person. I believe in giving great content. And prayerfully, this information has been valuable for you today to kick off this Back to Business virtual conference. So number one, I share with you how to identify your gift, how to profit from your passion, and how to expand your brand by sharing your story. I shared that pain plus passion equals purpose. I told you that pain plus purpose equals profit. I said to find what you are passionate about, and it will lead you to a life full of purpose. I asked you some, igniting questions. What would you do if money, failing, and fear was not an issue? Who do you desire to service with your gift? What is your unique serving proposition? How do you intend to make money? And the four elements of business, branding is how you get known. Marketing is how you get found. Sales is how you get paid. Operations is how you build a business. Now, I want you to know this, and I'm going to turn it back over to LaShanda. I don't know if we're doing Q&A or anything like that, but I'm definitely here, and I look forward to hearing the other speakers. I cleared my schedule. I absolutely love when LaShanda has the Back to Business virtual conference. I have like one client that I couldn't move, but all the rest of them, I was like, I got to be online to listen and support these other women because some I've heard of and some I haven't, and I'm always excited about joining arms with women of purpose. So the information that I shared with you today comes from my book, The Entrepreneur Blueprint. To get your autographed copy, you can go to theentrepreneurBlueprint.net. It's called The Entrepreneur Blueprint, How to Develop Your Darkest Storms into a Thriving Business. I want you guys to know within the first week this book released this year, I have written one book per quarter. And this was I wrote this book this year. I wrote it alongside 7 other women. They shared pearls of wisdom for aspiring entrepreneurs. And so, and another thing that we did is we teach you how to identify and profit from your passion, how to develop your gift into a thriving business. We share the danger of chasing more than one rabbit, the characteristics of a kingdom entrepreneur, and how to build your business while working 9 to 5. Within the first week, y'all, of sales, we sold over 700 copies. It maintained on the Amazon bestseller list, and I'm truly grateful for that. The copy is $19.99, and you will find the whole, it goes even deeper on the sales, marketing, systems, and branding that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Lastly, I want to invite you to join me on social media. I am live on Periscope every day. On social media outlets, I am at Carla R. Cannon. I also offer coaching if you're interested in my services. I teach you how to write a best-selling book in 7 days, how to define the pearl in you, how to fire your boss, and you can learn more about me at CarlaCannon.com. My social media is Carla R. Cannon. Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are the main ones that I utilize daily. So, LaShanda, I am done. Thank you so much for having me. I pray that this has added a blessing and enrichment to your life. Thank you again, LaShanda.
Oh, my goodness, Carla. So I was sitting here tweeting out all of the amazing messages that you had to share. Ladies who are joining us live, definitely feel free if you've got any questions or comments you want to share with Carla. Hit *6 and 1 to enter into the queue so that we can talk to you. The hashtag for our sessions for today is B2B16, B number 2, so B2B16. That's our hashtag if you're tweeting out your ahas and lessons learned. Also, make sure that you are sharing your favorite power quotes inside of our Facebook group, facebook.sistersense.com. I think from beginning to end, Carla has just shared so many powerful messages that for me resonated, and I hope for all of you has resonated. I remember when you said, when I was discouraged, I felt encouraged by encouraging others. And I think that's such a powerful thing. We dim our light sometimes and we feel like our situation is just our struggle, but you learned how to turn that pain into purpose and even into profit, which I think is an amazing, amazing thing. So, Carla, I want to make sure that everybody who is listening had an opportunity, because you did talk a little fast, but I talk fast too. So
I couldn't. And I wanted to be obedient. I couldn't remember, and I was like, I don't want her to have to stop me. So I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good because that's what happens when you're passionate and you want to get everything out there. But I definitely want to make sure that everybody here takes advantage of Carla's resources. You can download sistersense.com/swag, SWAG, sistersense.com/swag. That is our virtual swag bag. We've got amazing goodies in there from quite a few speakers, Carla Cannon included. She's got an amazing video she wants you to watch, as well as her download, so that you can continue working on turning those hobbies into profitable businesses. And once again, Carla, the URL for the book so that they have it and it's in their notebook so they're ready to go.
Yes, ma'am. TheEntrepreneurBlueprint.net.
Okay, perfection. So, ladies, once again, if you do have any questions for Carla, you can hit *6 and 1 to enter into the queue. We would love to talk to you. I know that you guys are having an amazing time. And if, of course, at any time you have difficulties hearing myself or any of the speakers, don't hesitate to let me know. You can shoot me an email, tweet me in the Facebook group, facebook.sistersense.com, however you need to flag me down to say, LaShanda, I'm having trouble. I am certainly here for you. So, Carla, one of the things that I think a lot of women entrepreneurs struggle with right now, and it's so great because your book talks about that, is being in a space of transition, right, and being in a space of juggling. Can you think of maybe one or two things in particular that you said, this is what fundamentally allowed me to juggle and master being mommy and mompreneur at the same time? Because I definitely want people to get that you are an amazing powerhouse and you do so much, not only from the perspective as a mogul, but as a mom, how you were able to balance that.
Absolutely. For me, I always think legacy. I am determined to be my daughter's role model. I am determined that when she thinks of a woman who inspire her or someone that motivates her or someone she wants to be like. I don't want her mentioning Nicki Minaj. I don't want her mentioning Beyonce. And nothing against either one of those beautiful sisters, but I want her to be able to say, you know what? My mama, I watch my mom do X, Y, and Z. I watch her, and that's why I always have my daughter at my conferences. I have her in here packaging books with me. I have her in my office. My daughter's a part of my team. She has on the Women of Standard shirt. She's there when I'm, getting them made. She's there through the whole process. And I'm actually preparing to have her write a book with me. And so in balancing that, it's really so much. It's all about my daughter. Her name is Patience. And it's really just showing her what life is all about. You don't sit back and let life happen to you, but you happen to life. And then number 2 would be my passion. I am so passionate about it. And I'll say this. I take advantage of being a single woman. I'm not sitting around crying, lonely, where my boo, where they, No, I take advantage of that. As I begin to excel as a person, I excel as an entrepreneur, I excel in ministry, and I excel as a mother. But I'm learning so much about myself because remember I said we're all on a path of discovery. We're finding out more about ourselves. So because I have this time as a single woman, I have an advantage. I don't have anybody I have to report to. I can jump up and go to Trinidad with my sister for 2 weeks if I want to. I can go to Florida. I can just go. There's a conference coming up in December. I'm like, yeah, I can go to that and not have to report. So number 1, I would say legacy. Number 2 would definitely be my daughter. And number 3 is my passion. It's my passion that, enables me to get it all done because when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so true. And, it's so interesting because very recently I was listening to Dr. Boyce Watkins. He was talking about the Black community. He was talking about generational wealth. And he said, one way we can eliminate debt within the Black community is if we teach our children entrepreneurship. It's so important for my business to be a family affair. And just like you say, you have your daughter and she's helping you ship products and work at events. Mm-hmm. You've got to make this a family affair. He said literally, and I remember you said you've got to focus, you've got to master. He said if you do something for at least 1 year, if you put in 1,000 hours into a thing, you can master it. So if you can devote 1 year to showing your children how to be entrepreneurs, leading by example, they will never have to worry about a job. They will always be self-sufficient, and we can eliminate the debt in that process. So I agree with you. I certainly thank you so much for being a speaker here, as always, bringing in that mastery and that ministry. That is what we need to kick off Back to Business. Ladies, do not hesitate to stay connected with Carla on all of her social media platforms. Just let them know the easiest way to make sure that they are staying connected to you.
Yes, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Periscope is like my absolute favorite. I just love Periscope. It's live. It's in the moment. And it's at Carla R. Cannon. And my website, carlacannon.com. And LaShanda, again, I am so honored to have, for you to invite me to come back again this year. So thank you.
Absolutely. I don't think I'm ever going to do one of these without you, unless you say you cannot make it because you sitting with T.D. Jakes and Oprah and all the good girls and boys. And you like, girl, it's real right now. I can't make it this year.
Oh, no, I love it. I absolutely love thank you. I love what you're doing. So y'all keep rocking out with LaShanda, too. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Now, I know, Carla, you've got a lot going on, but definitely feel free to come back and chime in whenever you can because we've got 12 hours, y'all, 12 amazing speakers sharing amazing ways for you to monetize now. We're just about going to get ready for our next amazing speaker in a few minutes. So, ladies, hang tight, and we will move forward soon.